not adopted, but fostered, right? Over 75 kids,
Over
right?
75. Yeah, we lost count after.
Lost count at 7.
And I closed my eyes and we went like this. Bam. And in fucking Gainesville, I said, well, I'm not moving to Gainesville. So I drugged my finger down.
First laid eyes on Phil, and you guys, friends group was going to get in a fight. Did you physically, like, were you attracted to him, even though you were with your ex at the time?
I'm more nervous now. I can talk in front of people. I can't talk to a camera.
Years old.
37.
36 years old.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Nick, and this is another Couch Talk episode. I have two new friends here. We have Phil and Jay, which me and Mike met at the new LGBT kickball league that we started, Rainbow Kickers. And I think they have an amazing story, and I can't wait to share a little bit about it with you guys. And we'll probably do 2 or 3 parts. So we're going to do just like a main story right now, and then we'll go into more detail later on. If you guys are new to the channel and you want to join, we go live every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. And you can find all my social media and all that stuff, emails, down in the description below. So we're just going to get started here. Me and Jay are going to be passing the microphone back and forth. So hopefully this turns out good, because this is a first of me doing 3 people. So here we go. So first, Phil, if you just want to introduce yourself a little bit, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and your age.
Okay. My name's Phil. I'm from Nebraska. I'm 42 years old, and we've been down in Florida since 2012. Prior to that, we were in Colorado.
Hi, my name is Jay, and I am 36 years old.
37.
36 years old. Like Phil said, we are from Colorado, and that's how we met.
So how exactly did you guys meet? And who wants to answer that question? Are we going with...
Jay's going to answer that one.
Okay, here we go, Jay.
Yeah, I think I'd be the one to answer that question. Phil and I used to frequent a local gay bar back in Colorado, and before we were ever officially introduced to one another, we had an interaction outside of the patio.
Yeah.
I was with a partner of mine at the time, and he had gotten into an altercation with another individual sitting there at the fire pit. And this big, tall gentleman,
Big, handsome, tall gentleman,
was sticking up for his friend who happened to be on the other end of the altercation. Long story short, my partner had gotten kicked out of the bar that night. And let's fast forward a few weeks. It was a Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm sitting there shoving my face full of hot wings, and I'm a total mess. But I see this individual on the other end of the bar with a mutual group of friends of ours, and they brought him over to introduce us. That'd be Phil here. And it wasn't until probably several weeks into us getting to know one another, which actually I'd like to back up a little bit. I wasn't ready to meet anyone.
But question, when you first laid eyes on Phil and you guys... friends group was going to get in a fight, did you physically, like, were you attracted to him even though you were with your ex at the time?
I didn't know that I was going to be attracted to him. I was more heated at the fact that my then boyfriend was creating such a scene and being a total fool.
douche.
But yeah, again, fast forwarding to Super Bowl Sunday, when I was officially introduced to Phil, he was very adamant that he wanted to get my contact information. He wanted to take me out, and I was in no way ready for any of that.
He didn't hesitate to give me the digits, though.
Another week or two later, it was in the final end stages of my relationship at that time, and I was at work one day. I was a barista at the time, and Phil, randomly texted me every now and then, had reached out and said, I need to take you out to dinner. What are you doing right now? I said, I'm having a bad day, but I'm at work, and he had found out where I worked, and I think I was okay. He had convinced me to take me out to dinner. So he had met me at the shop that I was working at, and my grandfather at the time had been there just hanging out with me as I was, serving other customers. And
I love this part. Keep going.
Phil showed up in uniform. Phil has a background in the military, in the U.S. Army. So he showed up in uniform, and my grandfather was sitting there in the lobby watching NASCAR. And rather than spending time with me, Phil sat there with my papa, my grandfather, and they sat there for a few hours just getting to know one another. And I think right there, that was kind of where the gates had opened. And I said, you know what, we are going out to eat.
I'm going to give this guy a shot.
I'm going to give this guy a shot, exactly. And yeah, that's how I became to know Phil. And it wasn't until after maybe our second or third dinner that we had realized that the guy that had stood up to my boyfriend that night at the bar, it was actually Phil. And that's when we kind of put everything together, realizing that he was the big knight in shining armor that was going to swoop me away.
I can feel the chemistry right now between them. Okay, so awesome introduction, how you guys met. So you start dating, right, at this point, and you guys are living in Colorado.
Correct.
Now, what brought you down to Florida?
Well, we were together just over a year, and I was getting out of the military. At that time, I knew I was going to either get deployed or get out. That was my two options. Mm-hmm. After my third deployment, I didn't want to go back overseas, and so I chose to get out of the military. And the military sends you to your last duty station. Basically, they move all your stuff to the last duty station. Well, at that time, my residency was in Nebraska, and I didn't want to go back to Nebraska. And randomly, we chose Florida. And
tell them the story. Tell them how you did the thing on the map.
So we chose Florida, and we got a map out. And he held the map up, and I closed my eyes, and we went like this. Bam. And in fucking Gainesville, I said, well, I'm not moving to Gainesville. So I drug my finger to Tampa.
So amazing. I love that.
Are we allowed to use that type of language on here?
Oh, you're totally fine. Yeah.
So that was end of November. By January, we packed up all of our belongings. We had 2 dogs, a cat, a U-Haul, pulling a car, and we jumped in and had no job, no apartment, nothing, and we just drove. As we're driving down, we made stops along the way to say bye to family and whatnot. And as we're driving down, I find an apartment in Clearwater, and I put a deposit down. And we throw that in our GPS, and we ended in Clearwater. And as we're pulling up, there was like foil on the windows and like a pit bull on the tennis court. And I said, this is not where
we're you were in the hood.
We were in the hood. Said we are not, the pictures online did not look like what we pulled up to.
Not at all.
So we moved into like a Quinta Inn or something.
It was like a Motel 6,
motel, yeah.
Little motel on the side of
For like
the road,
2 months we lived in a hotel, just driving every day. We drove to a different part of Tampa, just trying to see where we enjoyed the most. And we ended up in South Tampa, outside of the Air Force Base, just because I had military connection, etc. So 2 months later, we moved into our home and then found jobs from there.
Okay. So first, before we get any further, you guys have been together for how long?
A long time.
We've been together for 15 years.
15 years. Jay literally looks like he's 23, which is crazy. Phil looks like he's like 35. So I'm just like, wait, how old are you again?
42.
Okay, 42 and
36.
And 36. Yeah, I know you guys said in the beginning, but
It's our anniversary in 2 days.
Okay. So there's also another part of this story, right? Phil here has a biological daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you guys were moving to Clearwater, was she with you, or how did that go? Was that later on?
No, so when we moved to Clearwater, as we were stopping to say hi to family and bye to family, she lived with her mother at the time. She was 9 months.
She was less than a
She
year
was
of
less than a
age,
year old.
about 6 months or so.
Jay had already met her. Met my daughter. Met my ex-wife. I was previously married for a few years in the military. And so as we were moving down here, we stopped by, said hi to her. As we get to Florida, we asked her, my ex-wife and my daughter, hey, come on down. It just so happened that my ex-wife's parents were also moving down. They moved to Naples. We moved to Tampa. So yeah, I mean, Jay's been in my daughter's life since 6 months old.
It really helped that our daughters, they had extended family down here. So if we were all to choose a place to relocate to, Southwest Florida or Central and South Florida really is what made the most sense for all of us if we really wanted to join forces and kind of, co-family this together, which was probably the best decision that we had made between all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this goes into another part, which I thought was pretty interesting, and I can't wait to get into more detail about it later on. But they have one biological daughter and one adopted daughter, both the same age in high school,
Correct.
right? Hearing their story is like the amount that they do for the community, right? Not trying to boost your guys' heads up or anything, but it's pretty amazing. And I want to share kind of some of that story and how you got into it a little bit. So you guys have a fostered, not adopted, but fostered, right? Over 75 kids.
Over 75. Yeah, we lost count after.
Lost count at 75. Okay. So one, how did you get into the fostering? And what is the difference between fostering the kid and adopting a kid?
Sure.
Okay. Whoever wants to go with this one.
That's a good question. If you don't mind,
You do the first part.
Phil and I knew since we met each other that we weren't going to stop there, that we wanted to grow a family. It was important for us to start a family together, to build a life together.
So sweet.
Thank you. And it was something that I knew I always wanted was to have a family and kids of my own. I couldn't have done it on my own. So when we came down, we got settled in Southwest Florida. We had decided that Phil was the one who made the initiative to get the information for us to be able to apply to become foster parents with the state. So
The difference between foster and adoption, though.
Okay.
Before we go into a little more, or did you want to answer?
No.
Okay.
The difference between fostering is that there are a buckload of kids in our community and all over the United States that need a bed to sleep in. It was important to us to be able to provide these children with needs a place to stay and to sleep. We went into it a little blindsidedly, thinking like, oh well, this will be our opportunity to adopt a child. But really, the more you progress through the application process, you're educated on the fact that you don't join these types of programs, or you don't provide these assistance. You don't provide this assistance to become an adoptive parent. You learn that your main goal is to reunify these children with their loved ones, with their home, with their families.
That makes complete sense to me. Yeah. So you're not taking them from.
Absolutely,
You're just kind of like hold.
While the parents are getting their life together, the kids are in a safe spot.
Yes.
To allow the parents to get better.
And it's an opportunity to allow these children to still grow positive memories, to still project forward on a positive path. You're really just there to kind of help assist them with that. In the rarest of occasions, or in the most unfortunate of occasions, some of these children do not get that opportunity. They do not get that opportunity to go back and reunify with their loved ones, and which is unfortunate. But you do have the opportunity, or the ability to step forward and say, well, since we've already been there, to to provide that assistance for these children. We're not going anywhere, and we'll continue to do that.
I love that. Yeah.
We had that opportunity with, our adopted daughter. So that was a blessing in disguise. An unfortunate scenario which turned into a more fortunate scenario for the entire family. So,
And that's actually I'll just caveat real fast. I'm not sure. Our adopted daughter, now our foster daughter, came into our lives. We got a phone call on a Thursday night, and they said, "Hey, we have this one child. There's no placement in Collier County for her, but we have a placement for her in Miami. Can she stay with you over the weekend?"
Right.
We said, "Yeah, sure." So our house is open. She came in on a Thursday night. Monday morning, I got a knock on the door, and it's the case manager. "Hey, we're here to take, here to take her to Miami to her new placement." And we said, "She's not going anywhere. She's staying with us." And from that day forward, she was our daughter, our child, and we didn't let her go anywhere.
Oh my gosh. It's really powerful. Like the fact that you guys, even over 75 kids helping with the foster thing and then the adoption, it was a really big thing for me wanting to have kids, and obviously being in an age gap relationship, it's very difficult. It's something that's a catch-22 because I feel like I'm stuck in between. Well, I'm really only attracted to guys that are older. Mike's already had kids, doesn't want kids. For the most part, most people that are older in the age gap don't want kids. Not speaking about everyone, but majority, I feel like, are at that point where it's like, okay. So then Mike told me for the longest time, oh, what about like Big Brother and stuff like that, volunteering. And I'm like, yeah, but it like doesn't feel the same. Well, turns out these guys here, especially Jay, or is it just Jay that's on the board of, or you work for the Valerie House, or do you guys both do that?
We do different. So he's with.
yeah, I volunteer with an organization here locally within Southwest Florida called Valerie's House. And they deal mainly with children and families who are suffering from the loss of a close loved one, whether it be their direct parents or maybe even a grandparents or aunt and uncle. And they provide support groups and counseling. They also have like a big brother, a big sister, like a mentor-mentee program. So that was something that I felt it was kind of right up my alley. I got involved with as soon as possible and was assigned to my own mentee. And I found it to be very empowering, just not only to get that, it's like it's a win-win situation. Not only does the mentee receive this fill a void that, for instance, if my mentee was a young male who had lost a significant male, such as his own dad, and is now surrounded by a bunch of female empowering, family members, I look at it as like maybe he longs for this, this male on male relationship. Maybe he's looking for a positive male role model to be there to support him. And I look at it as like, the little kid the little brother that I never had. It's really nice it's positive that relationship that you really like, that you develop and that you kind of bond over like certain things. I find myself sitting there talking about Pokemon and football with a little individual that, these are things that I'd always earned for, wanted in my own.
Yeah.
I don't have a son, so it's great to have like a little brother now that I could do that with.
Yeah, let me see this thing. So listen, I was like, no, I don't want that. I want my own kid, right? And Mike was telling me, and then Jay brings it up, and for some reason it sparked something like, shit, I really want to do that. Yeah. I think I would be,
You'd be great.
I'd be fun. I would love to do it. I'd like to take him out fishing or go on the boat or do stuff like that. So Jay sent me the application. So I am planning to fill that out, and we'll hopefully get involved in that, But I feel like between the fostering and then you guys doing the Valerie's House and the Big Brother thing, God, and then the whatever. What's that other thing you're doing in the community?
We're in a committee for the local children's emergency shelter. So when there's no placement, there's no foster home for a child children here in our county go to emergency shelter. So we're on a committee for that, and I'm also on the board of directors for a nonprofit that services victims of our county.
Victims of
Everything
abuse,
from
any
abuse,
type of abuse,
death, any type of victim services.
which I Phil saying that, you know, he's on the board. I participate with their fundraising committee. It was something that I had really wanted to get more involved with, whether it had been employed by this organization or I just didn't get that opportunity. So I find that being a part of their fundraising committee is
We do, but there's all kinds of other stuff that we volunteer for between wounded warrior organizations and our county. Leadership Collier organizations and
Youth Haven, which is our local home.
Well, that was
for
our emergency
displaced
shelter, yeah.
children. Yeah,
It's a good amount. I mean, like,
absolutely.
I really, so with my channel, as you guys know, like I talk about addiction, recovery, mental health, stuff like that. And I feel like you don't see it or hear about it a lot on social media with people that have a bigger platform in the gay community is what I'm trying to say. I know there's people and organizations and stuff that do, but I feel like it needs to be shared. And so when I heard your guys' story, I was like, I have to have them on the channel. Like, I got to have them share their story. They're going to be coming back on to do another episode or so on the fostering story, how they got into that, and what they've learned about it so far, what you guys would recommend to people in the future that may be looking into it, other couples, especially with the Big Brother thing as well, too. And we'll be talking all about that. We are doing a pool party right now, and our other guests are going to arrive, so I know we're going to get cut off here shortly. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers, or any new projects that may be coming soon, or you're thinking about doing, or what you would say to a gay couple that may be looking to do something like that?
I mean, in regards to that, I would say if you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it, just do it. We've learned so much in our community and met so many cool people that are like-minded. You're not alone. There's others out there that are like us. Just do it. Just take that leap. Take that next step. Don't let anything hold you back.
And by all means, please share it with the rest of your community. If there's anything that I've learned the most, even through my own professional and personal growth within everything that we've done here in Southwest Florida, is share your story and talk about it. You can learn so much from not only sharing it with others, but learn so much from the others that you're sharing it with. And even just from meeting Nick here, and I feel like there's been so much growth and so much to gain. And if anything, it's only going to better our community.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you guys very much. We're going to go hang out. Our other friend Jody just got here. You'll see a weekend vlog coming up, but it'll already probably be posted before this video. But more to come. Phil and Jay. Jay's got something coming up in the works. We're not going to speak on it just yet, but it's going to be coming. And he'll hopefully have his own platform and channel, which we'll let you guys know about. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you all. Don't forget to hit the follow, the like, the dislike, the subscribe, whatever. It's all good. We appreciate all the support, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Peace.